I've had a lot of titles over my career, and certainly vice president will be great. But Kamala will always be the one that means the most. To everyone keeping up the fight, you are doing something. You are the reason I know we are going to bring our country closer to realizing its great promise. You marched and organized for equality and justice. For our lives, and for our planet. And then you voted. You delivered a clear message. You chose hope, unity, decency, science and yes, truth. I've fought for children and survivors of sexual assault. I've fought against transnational gangs. I took on the biggest banks and helped take down one of the biggest for-profit colleges. I know a predator when I see one. Throughout all of the recent events and the emotional roller coaster our country has been on, we cannot lose hope. And in order to have hope, one must first speak truth. No longer can some wait on the sidelines, hoping for incremental change. In times like this, silence is complicity. We cannot let up in the fight for equality, fairness, and justice. Even when, if not especially when, it is hard or uncomfortable to talk about. The time for outrage is now. The time for solidarity is now. The time for action is now. The time for change is now. My parents would bring me to protests strapped tightly in my stroller, and my mother, Kamala, raised my sister, Maya, and me to believe that it was up to us and every generation of Americans to keep on marching. There will be people who say to you, "You are out of your lane." They are burdened by only having the capacity to see what has always been instead of what can be. But don't you let that burden you. I became an adult at Howard University. Howard very directly influenced and reinforced, equally important, my sense of being and meaning and reasons for being. Here's the thing, every office I've run for I was the first to win. First person of color. First woman. First woman of color. Every time. The truth is that the vast majority of Americans are good, fair, and just, and they want their country to reflect those ideals. I often advocate that we look at many sides of an issue, walk in someone else's shoes, and identify and reject false choices. Our unity is our strength, and our diversity is our power. We reject the myth of us versus them. We are in this together. I'm really sick of having to explain my experiences with racism to people for them to understand that it exists. I was raised to be an independent woman, not the victim of anything. What I want young women and girls to know is, you are powerful and your voice matters. More women should run for office, and more women are running for office, and this is so exciting. Anyone who claims to be a leader must speak like a leader. That means speaking with integrity and truth.